Okay, so I just wasn't on the text, Ray. Was that what happened? Or did everybody else get it, we think? I know the people on here probably did. Okay, good morning. So I am gonna start with just a couple of items that I have. And I'm thinking of what order would be best. Okay, the first thing we'll talk about while we're kind of waiting for other people to come in is a couple of issues that we've run into lately regarding files, you know, everything getting in on time. And although in the past, some of you had attended Michelle's compliance training and escrow coordinator, transaction coordinator training, and you guys, a lot of you are doing a really good job in getting your files in, and yet what we're running into now was an unforeseen issue. And you tell me if you're facing this, and I'm just going to give some suggestions, is that the escrow companies themselves, right? We talked about this a little bit last week, that lenders, appraisers, surveyors, anybody that we usually rely on within the transaction to help us stick to our timelines, we're having challenges with because they're unable to commit because they're overwhelmed. So we've been running into some problems with a couple of escrow companies in getting documents from them that are needed, that we rely on to be able to have a file, the closing file. Michelle's, I see, jumping on, so she can speak to this too. So what I just want to reiterate to you is now more than ever, I mean, it's always important for you to get your files in on time so we can pay you at closing, which we want to do. We don't want to have to hold a check. It's, you know, it's not, we want you to get paid at closing, which of course that means that the file is uploaded into Command, into Opportunities 5 days prior to closing, at least 5 days prior to closing. Obviously, the earlier you get all the documents in, the more likely it's going to be approved on time, with the exception of the couple documents that you have to get at closing, right? The final settlement statement, the MLS printout, if it's on the MLS. So we understand that, and that, you know, that in and of itself wouldn't hold up your check. But what I want to stress to you is now the importance of staying on top of escrow in particular, and the people that you're relying on for documents, that it's not within your control. I mean, it's within your control in terms of your communication and being on top of it. And that's why I'm telling you, you know, more than ever to just assure that you are ahead of your timelines. So like if the prelims, you know, and I know they took that off the contract for a reason, but now they aren't, I'm going to give you a couple of examples. They aren't, it isn't specified anymore when that prelim has to be delivered by, right? It used to be in the contract and now it's not. So it's kind of escrow's discretion in a way, meaning we don't have a lot of control over that. So I would be asking for that, or have your transaction coordinator, you're asking for that on day one, like getting that prelim in your hand as soon as possible. Another one that we're seeing is the HARPTA and FERPTA certs. Those are also being delayed, and those are an essential document that need to be provided in the file. So if you're not getting stuff, or your TC isn't getting stuff, you've got to tell them, like every day, just hound them, get it, so that you're not at the 11th hour not having documents that you need for your file, which we see is happening a little bit more frequently now. And I'm hearing that it's being attributed to the you know, the overflow or the backlog of these offices. So any thoughts, questions, comments, experiences on that you want to share? Michelle, what do you want to add? Anybody? Is anybody else having a challenge with this? I mean, we've had a couple people recently, so that's why I'm bringing it up. Are you guys getting your stuff in on time? Are we okay? What am I missing? Yep.
Lisa, it's Stacy.
Hi, Stace.
So if you have a listing, you should obtain a pre-listing title report to start it off. That way it'll be a head start on the transaction, and escrow will have an easier time updating it if need be.
So broker's prelim is your tip for getting to get ahead of the game. Great suggestion. Thank you. Anything else?
This is Autumn. Hi, how are you? Hi, good, Autumn.
I had some issues with my last one, but I'm hoping it was just the snafu between a transition with my TC and COSE being out on emergency. I think everybody had problems with that. So other than that, I haven't, but that was definitely an issue.
Okay. Well, good. I mean, I'm glad to hear. If not, a lot of people are having that problem. That means you guys are getting ahead of it, and that's good. I'm bringing it up because it's come up a couple of times that I've seen recently. And of course, maybe it's just that I only hear when there are issues, right? I don't really hear all the good stuff, and you guys are doing a lot of good stuff. So I wanted to mention that. And then the other thing I wanted to share with you, Michelle, did you have anything else to add on that? Can you hear me? I see you, but you're frozen. Okay, you might have a reception issue. Okay, so the next, Stacy's saying pick up the phone and not call and not just email. Yeah, that's another good suggestion, Stacy, is that, and you always want to email for sure, because you want that documentation in writing, because if this comes up, and by the way, one of these deals that this happened with, the client is threatening, on one of these deals, the client is threatening to sue the escrow company. So just a heads up there, because now the deal closed. So I'm not sure that there's like an issue or a case there, but I can't speak for that in terms of like legality. But there was an issue where, I mean, I heard that the escrow company, which remember, this is a third party neutral company, not in the transaction, had requested to the parties to extend the closing, which I'd never heard of before in my entire life. In this case, in one of these cases, escrow actually went to the parties and said, hey, can we extend? Because we can't get the stuff you need to you, which is kind of crazy. So, okay.
That happened to me.
That happened to you, Emily?
Yes.
Okay. So go to your broker.
Escrow company.
So in that case,
wait, Lisa, you said that they didn't go to the agents; they went directly to the clients without asking.
No, they went. Well, no, they went to they requested it by the agents, but the idea that a escrow company would request an extension. Now, this was not a 2-week closing. This was not a 10-day closing, right? Where sometimes it's a little bit tight. This was a longer closing period. So, okay, now that we have more people on the call, I want to show you something pretty awesome that was sent to me by Karen Prawl this morning, who we just got this data yesterday. And so she made a graphic on it, so the first thing is March. You know, I talked to you guys in February or at the end of February that March was that February was a record-breaking month for you, for the entire company in 6 years since we opened. And you have beaten that record again in April. And I'm going to show you what the results of that are. If I can.
Massive, they're massive results.
So check this out, you guys.
Drum roll, please.
Drum roll, please. Boom, you guys. $111,000 in 1 month for profit share. We have, I mean, not only have we never done over $100,000, we haven't been close to that. I mean, in February, our best month ever, which was this year, we did 82,000. And prior to that, I think our biggest month was maybe 60, 65. So
It doubles our profit share for the year.
It doubles our profit share for the year in 1 month. And you know, in February, some of you know this, some of you don't. Our office was the #1 Keller Williams office in the entire company of 840 offices. 840 offices in the U.S. That doesn't include international. International has their own weird stats. But we were #1 in the entire company, and I would bet that we're going to be #1 again this last month in the entire company. So that gives us great exposure. I mean, even though it may not have, you don't see what the direct results are, but this is big. It puts us on the map in terms of visibility. People see it, all the other agents, you know, and leadership in the company. So they're thinking about us or thinking about Maui. I mean, you know, it's a good thing. Plus, those of you who are benefiting from profit share will see this benefit on the 21st or so of May when that hits your bank account. So congratulations on that. And then obviously congratulations, those of you, even if you don't have profit share, you're going to be seeing the results of that in your GCI, in your deals. We also broke a record for closed transactions in April at 156 transactions closed, which, so our trajectory right now, and that's again, by far the most we've ever had in 1 month. And it's crazy because inventory is tight. I see you guys, though, one thing you are doing that I have to commend you for is we're doing more dual agencies, which was what the goal was. Because if we have tight inventory, we want to get more listings and we want to do more dual agencies. So we can all benefit with each other within the company as much as possible. So you guys are doing that, and that's going up, which is great. So keep that up. What you're doing is working. The other thing I wanted to mention on stats was we should have posted the lore report from I think it was from March in the intranet, which you should use on your listing presentations. I posted on my Facebook page too. And that shows how how Keller Williams Realty Maui as an office is outpacing the real estate board in all categories, meaning your percentages of listings taken, contracts written, contracts closed, units sold, every category you beat the rest of the real estate community as a whole. So this is how we measure what our success level looks like in our market. And so it's going really well. So congratulations for that. And shoot, there was one other thing I wanted to mention, which I didn't write in my notes. Who I may refer to if we have questions about profit share. Good question. Kayla, you can talk to Stacy, would probably be me or Stacy would be the best people to talk to about profit share questions. And okay, awesome. The next, and while I'm trying to remember the other thing I was going to mention about statistics, I want to talk a little bit about Red Day. Thank you, Ray, for verifying that the lore report and lore. Should I give away another Starbucks gift card for somebody who, oh no, I asked this. Did I ask this question last week? I did. Okay. So lore stands, did I ask the question what lore stands for? Who wants to win a Starbucks gift card?
Give away a card. Give away a card.
Okay, I'm giving away a card for the person who tells me first what lore stands for. When I say lore report, what does lore mean? It's an acronym, in case you haven't noticed that. And no, you can't. No, Michelle, I'm gonna disqualify you. It's got to be like another agent. Aaron.
Language of real estate.
Language of real estate, Aaron IU. Great job. Aaron wins the Starbucks gift card, and Ray's going to remind me to make that happen like he did last week for Michelle's. Great job. Language of real estate. Perfect. Okay. Red Day. Let's talk a little bit about Red Day because that is coming up next week, which we're very excited about. Thank you to everybody on the team who's been helping to coordinate that. Ray and I were talking yesterday, and the good news is the Maui Food Bank volunteer section that we have available to us that day is full, meaning we have more volunteers now than we can accommodate because of COVID, right? So they moved us to the warehouse so we could have more people there. So that's great news. Thank you to everybody who's volunteering. What that means, and then we still have the volunteers for the afternoon slot to donate food to the homeless. We're still doing that as well. However, I know there's a handful of people that want to volunteer that we now are full. So two things I wanted to mention. One is we have added a food drive, a virtual food drive. So we're not going to go collect food, but you can go online. And Ray, do you want to share or put in the chat box the website that they can go to or direct people to make a donation for food?
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. I'm so excited about the virtual food drive. It's one way for everyone to get involved who maybe aren't available on actual Red Day or for the full day that day, but can still have an impact with the Maui Food Bank. So I'll put in chat, and I'm also going to send out an e-blast to all agents across the island, an explanation of what the virtual food drive is. But long story short, you go online to the Maui Food Bank link that I'm about to send. You fill your basket with fruit for whatever the cost of fruit is, a bag of rice, etc. And then you check out just like you would at a grocery store. So it's like you're giving food But with COVID, it's a virtual food that you are giving. And so that donation goes directly to the Maui Food Bank. We're hoping to raise a ton of money for Red Day and Keller Williams. So make sure that you tag Red Day or Keller Williams in your comment line when you check out online. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm available. But yeah, I'll send that link right now.
Thank you, Ray. And so then the other question that I have, and we don't have to spend, all day on this. I just wanted to get any suggestions, and Stacy just sent me a text this morning. So I'm looking at that website you mentioned, Stacy. I'm kind of looking for if there's any other thing that the people that we don't have room for can do. I said to Ray, man, I hate to have them not be like able to physically participate. And granted, these are the conditions that we're in. I get that. So the question that I have for you, if anybody has a suggestion, and this would be for Maui, because Big Island, I think, is covered, and you guys are doing outdoor stuff and you're doing food collections outside. So I think you're good. For us, though, we have maybe like 10 more people to accommodate, and anybody else who hasn't registered yet. Does anybody have an idea of what we could have them do during that, morning session, which is a 2-hour? I mean, even if it's an hour, we had talked at one point about stuffing toiletry bags for the homeless, like little mini toothbrush and toothpaste things. That was one thing we're thinking about doing, where we can get maybe 10 people together to do that. Any other suggestions of something we might be able to jump in and do at short notice for an hour or an hour and a half?
Could we do the same thing as Big Island, like have them go to the grocery stores and collect actual food?
So I talked to Ray about that a little bit yesterday. It's a great suggestion, Sam. It was the first thing I thought of as well. And I think the challenge is getting the approvals and permissions of that in advance, which I know the Big Island had a challenge with, and that's why they had narrowed down the amount of places they were doing that. A lot of people won't let them do that right now because of COVID. So it is an option. It's just, I mean, if anybody has a connection somewhere and can park the table there and a collection bin, great. I'm not sure about the logistics of that. What about bringing toiletries if we have them from hotels? Yeah, Joanne, I would say if we do that part of it, then we could do that. Anything on the west side that we could do as a group. Yeah, that's a good question, Miranda, because that's a good question. So I don't know if the West Siders want to do group thing. What I'm going to say is if you have any suggestions today or tomorrow, like in the next day or two, send them to Ray. Beach cleanup. So yeah, I would say send him your suggestions of something we could do as a small group. My question for you on this call, since you're all on this call and showing up today, is who on this call is in the category of wanting to volunteer but not being able to get into, that we were full and you couldn't get in? Like how many people are on this call? We're estimating, Ray, right? Like 10 more people or so.
Yeah, 10 would be great. Right now, everyone who's submitted an RSVP to me via the link or via email has been included in our counts. And so
okay, great.
Basically who we're talking about is if you haven't got to RSVP yet, you were busy, but you wanted to get to it this week, this would be those people that still have an RSVP that still want to get involved.
Okay, so we don't really have those people committed yet that we're looking for things to fill. So,
right.
So I guess the question would be, do we want to coordinate that, or do we want to? I have an idea, Ray. I think this will be the easiest thing, since we don't have those set people yet, or anybody to coordinate that. Would be anybody who wants to volunteer that tries to RSVP that can't get into that. Let's put those people together and let them. So a couple of people are mentioning a beach cleanup. Let's get those people together and say, hey, talk to each other. Do something on your own. That might be the easiest to do in the short notice. And rather than us trying to coordinate that, I'm just kind of making this up today, right now. That's something that I would probably suggest. So Miranda, I see you said you're down for anything.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. We can kind of decentralize it. So we've got our core activities. We know we're helping the food bank. We know we're helping people experiencing homelessness here in Kahului. So if you're on the west side, if you're on the south side, if you got a group in Hana or you're on an outer island and you want to plan something, just let me know so that we can share the word, let everybody know what we're doing, and then anybody that's in the area might be able to join you. So that's for people who aren't already RSVP'd and have time on Red Day and want to make a difference. So that sounds great.
Great. And I think a beach cleanup, Stacy's mentioning it too, is actually a really good idea because we don't have to get anybody's permission to do that, right? We can just show up somewhere, collect garbage, and people will appreciate that, hopefully. And we've done beach cleanups in the past. Okay, Miranda, did you have anything? I see you have your hand up, but then I know you put something in the chat box. So let me know if there is anything else. Okay, I'm down for that. Great. Okay, so maybe what we'll do, so Ray, we'll talk later, but you could coordinate an email to everybody that says, hey, if you haven't registered yet for the Maui Food Bank. Now, if you've registered for the Maui Food Bank, come to the Maui Food Bank because we have limited slots and we're counting on you to be there to get the work done that we need to get done. Don't just decide to go to a beach cleanup if you've already RSVP'd for the Maui Food Bank, okay? Just to make that clear. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to mention that I had forgotten earlier that I was saying, oh, the other thing I wanted to tell you guys about our statistics. So the fact that we've had such a strong first quarter and now going into quarter two already, what that does is that puts us on a trajectory we've never been on before as a company. So because we're breaking all these records, we are on track to close. If we continue, when we continue this path that you guys are on for the rest of this year, we would close. So in units, if we continue the amount of numbers that we're doing, we would hit over 1,300 units. Which would be by the end of the year. And to put that into perspective, the biggest year we ever had, which was a pretty big year, was 958. So we hadn't quite hit our 1,000 goal, which was our goal. So over 1,000 units for one company on this island. You guys, when we hit the 958 that year, which was in 2019, that was a third of what sold in this market. 33%. We had 33% market share of units sold that year. So, and I know, you know, so listings are tight. So it'll be really interesting to see what that market share looks like. The other thing, the other record that we would stand to break would be your sales volume. And we're on track, you guys. We could do this. We're going to do this. You guys are going to close if, you know, you continue this path. So keep it up. $1 billion of real estate. One company. On Maui and Big Island, Maui and Big Island. So in all fairness, we're adding Big Island too. And you guys have helped, you guys have actually helped a lot because we opened 2 offices there, which has been, that's part of the results that we're seeing, right? In our overall numbers. So that's awesome for you guys. And you guys are closing about 20% of the business we're doing right now on the Big Island. And then of course we have a couple of awesome agents on Kauai, and then Brandon who's hanging out on Oahu. So yay, Stacy showing us the profit share check. So man, you guys, what an incredible thing to be able to do together as a team would be to close $1 billion, which they do on only 2 of the companies, I think on Oahu do that right now, maybe 3 companies on Oahu. Maui though, I don't know. I haven't seen anybody close $1 billion on Maui since I've been paying attention, which has been at least for probably the last 6 years. Okay.
Speaking of listings,
Keone.
I'm having a listing class today at 1 o'clock from 1 to 3. It's on the calendar, and it's going to be.
Oh, that's through the Ignite. Is that
right.
For listing focus today?
It's open for everybody, and it's from 1 to 3 this afternoon, and it's basically going over the listing contract and associated documents. So if you want to learn how to fill that out, come on by.
Awesome. Okay, that's really good. And yeah, we want to stay focused on listings because that's going to help control the business and control your guys' business and income. So, and thank you. We did have a listing mastermind that we were all invited to for Northern California and Hawaii, and Todd Hudson, Dean Otto, and Lee Potts were all on the panel. So if you guys have any takeaways from that, I mean, it was incredible. Dan Palomino was on that, and I was on a call with him yesterday. As you guys know, on the Big Island, he's on the Big Island. And Dan, remember, came from the Denver market and had, you know, a lot of business. I mean, the guy was a top luxury agent there, really high level in listings. And he said out of everything he's ever been to, he had the most takeaways. He doesn't take notes, and he took notes on that listing clinic. On that listing mastermind that we had. So that was really cool. If you didn't get a chance to catch it, you can go onto the All Region Northern California and Hawaii Facebook page, which maybe somebody can put in the chat box, and you can watch the recording of that or the posting of that video from the listing clinic, which is, I mean, the listing, I'm looking at the listing clinic right now. That's why I'm saying that, the listing mastermind. The other thing I wanted to remember is the listing clinic that is coming up with Gene Rivers. And I'm looking for the flyer on that. Sign
Next
up for it.
Thursday, this Thursday, tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow? It's tomorrow. It's
Tomorrow,
tomorrow. Gene
from
Rivers
7 a.m.
listing clinic. So can somebody put that in the chat box as well to sign up for the listing clinic with Gene Rivers? Again, you guys, I mean, I highly recommend this training tomorrow, which you have the opportunity to attend without physically flying anywhere, which is, this is the first time ever that that's being that we have that being offered. Gene Rivers is literally one of the best instructors, definitely one of the top 3 in the entire company. And that starts at 7 a.m. It's 7 a.m. to 2. So you could be done with that by, you know, a half day. So thank you for putting that in the chat box, Ray. So click on that link if you haven't registered. Normally that class costs a few $100s to attend. And because it's virtual and he's offering it to our whole region, it's $25 to invest in. And if you take one more listing from it, which you should, it's going to be well worth the investment. Those were my big hot topics for today. What do you got, Michelle?
Okay, just a couple quick things. I'll eliminate a bunch. The first thing is Malley County launched its post-arrival COVID-19 tests yesterday in a soft launch. So if you have any clients flying in, let them know they will be COVID tested, and they're testing to make sure that they can identify anyone coming into our community that has a variant. They'll do an initial post-arrival test. If you test positive, they will do a second test to identify the variant, and you will have to quarantine for 10 days if positive. If you're fully vaccinated, you don't have to take the post-arrival COVID test. So tell your clients that if they're fully vaccinated, they bypass all that. The second item I wanted to talk on was continuing education. This is an off year. You don't renew this year, but RAM is offering the green designation. This is EDAR's green designation. You receive 12 elective CE credits. So basically, if you take this class, it's a 2-day class, end of May 26th and 27th, you're done with your CE except for your mandatory classes. They're also offering it free because this is a renewable energy-based CE class. They have sponsorship. So you get the 12 credits of CE and the designation, and it costs you nothing. This is a great opportunity for new agents to jump in and get your first designation that's very appropriate and useful. The last thing I want to talk on is Paragon is having short classes, expand your skills in Paragon, starting tomorrow, the 6th and the 7th. Those classes start at 6 a.m., 6, 7, 8, and 9. They're all different topics. Go to RAM's website for education if you need to see what those are, but they're more advanced uses of Paragon. That's it for today.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Dawn, you have, yes, Dawn, go ahead.
Okay, just want to mention that we have our first wealth building group meeting, not a committee meeting. So this is open to everybody that wants to make more money and create wealth. That's going to be set up for Monday, the 17th at 4 p.m. We're going to cover creating a budget so you know where you're spending your money and how to get that set up better. We're going to cover how to calculate your net worth and track it so that you can watch yourself get wealthier. We're going to cover basic profit and loss statements so you can determine what your business is doing right now and how to improve it. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is your financial freedom number. So you know how much money you have to have coming in a passive manner so you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, and never be tied down to anything that requires your time. So see you on the 17th.
I'm in love with this group. Thank you, Dawn. So incredible. This is what it's about, you guys, right? Creating a life worth living, a business worth owning, a career worth having. And that is making sure that it is something that is getting you what you need. So I'm so excited about working on that stuff. It makes all the difference in the world because we know what you focus on expands, right? So if you're putting that stuff in front of you and you're actively working on it, it's going to work for you. Okay. Did we get a link from Eventbrite for the clinic tomorrow if we signed up? So Steve, are you asking if you signed up or did they send you a link? So when you registered, you should have received an automatic and immediate, I think, response with the link. So search yeah.
I got an Eventbrite confirmation, but I'm just imagining what's going to happen is I'm going to be scrambling tomorrow, but I don't know if I'm the only one or not, but was there like a Zoom link or, and we can talk about that later if we need to, but I imagine we're all going to be like,
when you register that it sends it to you directly, but maybe Ray can clarify what the process of that is, or if we actually have a link that we can post on the calendar. I think the registration, you know what you can do is on the calendar, Ray, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing that the registration link is in our intranet calendar. And if you click on that and you've registered, it should say join meeting in progress. When you click on it, that's what normally happens, right, Ray? If you click on it and you haven't registered, then you just register right that moment and join meeting in progress at that time, like right before. Any thoughts about that, Ray? Am I right?
Right before, Lisa.
Will they send a reminder? So I don't know if there'll be a reminder in the morning. I mean, I can't guarantee it. I would guess there is going to be, but if not, look for that thing today or go on the intranet calendar and see if you can get that link and take care of it before 7 a.m.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I didn't see it. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Let me know. Let us know if you have a problem finding it.
Yeah, Steve, you're not the only one because I was wondering the same thing where the link was.
And maybe Ray can touch base with Debbie Bradley, but I think, we can probably find it and locate it. And I don't know, Ray, if you want to post that registration link in the chat box and then they can copy it.
Yep, I'll repost that.
Thanks,
Honestly, I'm not attending, so I don't know what that looks like. So I'll figure out who is and
so go to the, but if you go to the, just go to the Friday blast we sent out of how to register and what to click on, and then just click on it or see if it's in the internet calendar, because it should be in the internet calendar.
I'm resending the link right now. It's in chat.
In the past, when they've done things via Eventbrite, it's gone exactly as Michelle said. They send the link the morning of, and that's how everybody gets in.
Okay. So just in case, just copy this link.
The link's in there.
Okay. Thank you. It's in the chat box. Okay. The last thing that I wanted to mention, does anybody have anything else that, like any other brokers, anybody, I'm going to ask you for a takeaway from the listing stuff in a minute, but I wanted to mention, does anybody else have anything?
Yeah, I'm wondering about how to sign up for that green designation class. I didn't really get that.
It's through the Realtors Association.
Okay, she's got it.
Oh, no, that's Jean Rivers. That's not the same one, right?
Okay.
All right, so you need to go to the Realtors Association of Maui and you can sign up. It's in their education, in their calendar, and it's the green designation, and that will give you
but
completion.
I don't know. So the question is, so Emily's not a member of RAM. Are you a member of RAM, Emily? Probably not.
You can take it, I'm a member if you're not a member of RAM.
So that's the question, is if she can take it, if she's not a member. So how does she get access to it? How does she get out? She just contacts the Realtors Association?
It's Lisa, it's Rochelle.
Hi.
Emily, hi. Just want to let you know that the local association has it available as well. I want to say it's the same, it's around the same week. So same things that Michelle was mentioning, credit, cost, it's also available on the Big Island through the local association.
It's being offered through all boards statewide.
Great, thank you. Okay, last thing I'm putting in the chat box. I've been meeting with some of you and this has been an incredible resource for you. So I want to make sure I share it with everybody. And I'm also going to share it when we do the My Way, the second part of the KW My Way rollout, which is probably going to be July 1, it looks like now. One of the resources that I've been able to find that's been just so incredibly valuable is virtual assistant help and support with really, really amazing people. And we've had some VA resources in the past. They've been kind of hit or miss. So I'm just going to tell you that we've been hitting home runs on this, and some of you have taken advantage of this and already hired a virtual assistant through this company, which is called Elite VA. It was introduced to me by Karen Prawl. Karen Prawl, our regional director. She has a rock star VA whose name is Star, which isn't surprising. And then Star introduced me to my VA, who's been just phenomenal. It's a game changer. And yeah, Joanne, they are great. I know you're one of the people that's been communicating with them. So I'm putting Star's email in the chat box. And if you are looking for any virtual assistant support, anything administrative in your business that you need help with, and I'll give you, they have a whole list of things that they provide, but I'll give you an example that a lot of agents need, which is database management and marketing, organizing your database, tagging your database, getting out your touch campaigns to your sphere, making sure that you're maximizing that. They can set up your marketing calendar, get your stuff ready to go. They can even send postcards virtually because you don't need to touch a piece of paper anymore. They can, I mean, a lot of great stuff that they can do for you. Cleaning up your email. I had thousands. I won't even tell you how many, tens of thousands of emails that I had in my email that hadn't been cleaned up. And she literally went in there and cleaned up my entire email and just got it down to now my dailies. So I apologize in advance if I was, or actually retroactively, if I was not responding to your emails on time, because I get a lot of them, and as you do too, I'm sure. So sometimes it's hard to sort through all of that. So Laura, look at her contact Star. And I mean, as terms of cost effectiveness, you guys too, like a lot of you, you know, the guys that I coach, you know, you're hiring or you're looking to hire a full-time admin person at, you know, a salary, a full-time salary. And that's hard for some of you to commit to. So this allows you to commit to somebody on a monthly basis at, you know, I mean, I can't even talk about the fraction of the cost. For you guys, it's a special deal too. I negotiated this with them. So what they're doing is, if you want somebody part-time, 20-ish hours a week, say, but basically part-time, it costs you $495 a month. That's it for a part-time person. Not $4,000 a month, which might be what you would pay somebody, or $2,000 for a part-time person or whatever. It's $495 or under $1,000 for full-time, and they are rock stars. So I'm just gonna put that plug in because it's been like I said, a game changer for me, and I wanted to make sure I shared that resource with you, even though I'm going to share it officially later. We're already utilizing them. Anything else? Questions, comments? Okay, listing takeaways. So anybody who was on the listing mastermind, I'd love to hear your top takeaway, your number one takeaway, and what you're going to be implementing in your business or have already started. And the other thing that would be to tell me something good. So I know Dean was on the listing mastermind because he was a panelist, and I'd love to hear from somebody else who was on it that has a takeaway. Who's got one?
Hey, I was on it.
Yes, Kayla.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
The listing, I had a lot of takeaways actually. Let me see here. I love this saying of like, it's safe to sell. Like somebody was talking about how they talked to clients, you know, and during this pandemic time, and they were sharing like the way that they start their relationship with their client is to talk about that it's safe to sell. And also the sense of reciprocity between services with the client, so that, you know, it's not, and how he talked about receiving a recommendation from them. He had that conversation in the beginning during a listing consultation with a client. So he was saying, you know, that's an important thing because I'm going to do my best to put my best foot forward and provide you with amazing services. And, you know, and I would love to have your recommendation reciprocated at the end of our experience together. And that having that conversation in the beginning set the standard of reciprocity. So that way, at the end of the transaction, they weren't necessarily like shocked or like taken aback or felt like they had to rush through a recommendation or something like that. And so by him planting that seed in the beginning with the client, that allowed for the client to just also even take notes within how they felt they were being serviced. So at the end, they could even provide a better recommendation and have it be a fun process too.
That's so great. Yeah, that's a great one. I love that, working that into the process, starting from the beginning, planting the seed, because that reciprocity, law of reciprocity is real. So that's so great. Thank you for sharing that. That's an awesome one. I'm going to answer Crystal's question about the listing clinic. It is, I don't know that it's going to be recorded, Crystal, because, and if it does, I know the region, I'm not sure if they're able to share it or how they share it, because it's a regional class. It's not like a market center class. I wouldn't rely on you being able to watch it after it's over, if that's the question. If you can't get on it, I mean, we can find out if there'll be a recording that would be available to you, but of course there's a cost to the class. So I'm not sure how they're going to swing that. I would guess it's probably not going to be available, but we can find out. Okay. Thank you for posting that stuff in the chat box. All right. Another takeaway, or tell me something good before we go. So, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I had
Kathy.
a couple takeaways from the listing clinic that was great on multiple offers, since we're all facing them. You know, everyone was saying, you know, remove as many contingencies as the client is safe with, because that's going to drive what they choose. Increase your earnest money deposit. And some of the agents were even saying that they were making it, you know, after 10 days after that earnest money deposit goes to the seller directly, or a portion of it does. And I thought that was interesting. Everyone also said in multiple offer situations, it's that agent to agent connection. It's not, you know, sending things out and stuff. It's having that real connection with them, calling them before you submit an offer, talking through what their client wants. And those are all good things anyway that we should be doing.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a big one too. I mean, we tend to get, and I fortunately don't see this much in our company because we discourage it. Sometimes you deal with other agents on the other end that are like this. And I just want to remind you that that relationship matters with the other agent, and you want to have good relationships with your co-op agents and co-op brokers. And you know, I've said this before, but I can tell you stories where our clients have gotten the deal because of that relationship, which seems like it shouldn't happen that way, because it shouldn't necessarily, you know, it doesn't hurt. And obviously the offer has to work for the seller, but you know, when you're in multiple offer situations and they go, I want to work with this person, and they could even tell that to the seller, like, hey, these offers are the same. And they say, what do you think? Well, this person's really great to work with, and, you know, they get the job done. Like, that matters. So thank you, Kathy, for mentioning that. Anything else? So Dean, you were on that and you were a panelist, but, you know, there was $1 billion worth of sales volume with that panel. So there are a lot of incredible takeaways from other people too. What'd you get?
Yeah, I think it was pretty good. You know, I like the idea of having an FAQ sheet for each listing, you know, the commonly asked questions and stuff that people call you on all the time. And if you could have a sheet, you could actually do a boilerplate for each listing and have those same old questions, you know, answered one time. I like that idea, especially if you have a lot of listings. And yeah, it was really good. I've had 5 requests for one-on-one meetings, and I've also had requests to present to different luxury groups since I had that presentation. So that's kind of awesome, and you always get a great response from these panels. And so many people, you know, follow me on Instagram afterwards. I'm getting a lot of referrals through the people that I've connected with through these presentations. And I'm doing one-on-one presentations to people, and I'm also now doing presentations to luxury groups now around the country. I'm doing one for like Silicon Valley. I'm like, you kidding me? What do you want to know from me, right? But so they're all kind of trying to figure out how to break into luxury, and, you know, I have my own theory on that, which has resonated with some of these people, and they've invited me back for. So it's really a cool thing. If you can ever get on a panel, it's an amazing thing. The exposure is incredible. And I have people referring to me that met me or saw me on a panel 3 years ago. And to this day, I'm still getting referrals from them. So It's really
yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I mean, that's one of the opportunities that we provide at every level of the agent, which is a platform for that, creating that referral network. And keep in mind, those of you who are not on a panel yet, or, you know, maybe you don't want to be on a panel, you can also benefit from attending these, you know, these things that we're doing regionally. Anything that you can get on and attend regionally, see who's on it, that gives you a way or a reason to reach out to another agent. So like you guys could go and reach out to some of those agents that were on the Northern California side of the panel. Hey, thanks so much. And build that referral relationship for you and that agent, right? Like that's part of the networking process. You don't have to be on the panel to get that. I just want to say that, right? Although it certainly helps because it gives you that exposure. And those opportunities do come up. So
that was good too. And you know, I have to say, I was petrified in the beginning when I first started doing this 4 years ago. I mean, I literally would stress out for 3 days prior to the presentation. And really was just completely stressed out. Now it's become a lot easier. So it's like always intimidating to start out. But man, you know, after the first one, and I saw people responding, it really became quite easy. And, you know, it is intimidating in the beginning there. And I think it's once you do it once or twice, it's really easy.
I love that. Get out of your comfort zone, which you did, and now it's your comfort zone. And then thank you for doing that, by the way. And then Joanne reminded, yeah, thank you for that. Thanks, Steve, for that comment. Joanne reminded us because she has been working the referral network. And yeah, she has a good referral check. Joanne's been working the referral network and getting referrals. I know some of you, I signed the referral checks for you, and you guys are really taking advantage of making that networking happen with other agents across the country, especially right now with all the people that want to buy here. It's such a good opportunity for you to reach out. So if you're calling your database, call some agents too, go into the referral network in Command and start to build some relationships. All right, you guys, thank you so much for sharing today and for being here. And I look forward to seeing many of you at Red Day and also at the listing clinic, on the listing clinic with Juniverse tomorrow. So, and if you want to jump into Keone's, the listing class that he's doing too, that would be great. Keep it up. You're doing an amazing job. And $1 billion is the goal this year in sales volume. Woo! All right, you guys, thank you. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you.